Hello there, this is DBT and these are the rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt Legends Unite. And today, we're gonna be talking about the beautiful car that you see on the screen right now, and that is the Brabham BT62. And of course, that is because right now, there's a key hunt happening for this car, and you have an opportunity to acquire it if you want to grind it. And oh boy, is it tough. But we're gonna also be testing it in multiplayer to try to do a little bit of swimming upstream. I'll explain. For now, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video. In doing that, you tell YouTube this is worth recommending, and in that way I can continue making these videos for you. And while you're at it, why don't you subscribe to the channel as well? You know that I post almost every day, so go ahead, might as well. But alright, so what is the deal with this car? Like I just mentioned, there is a key hunt going on for the car right now. And there might be a little bit of a question as to whether or not it's worth going for, because being a key hunt, it means that you need to max out the car, or at least start it up all the way to the 5th star in order to unlock the key. If you don't have it at 5 stars, you're not able to get it. And that is a bit unfortunate because it means that you have to grind it massively if you don't have any blueprints for it. Now, how difficult is it to do this key hunt? Well, the cars that are required are going to be the Resvani Beast X for 5 guaranteed blueprints, another 5 with the Corvette Stingray, and from there onwards you need to do with a Class D, for example here, it requires Class D, and beat a time of 48 seconds. In that way you guarantee getting all 3 of these blueprints. In fact, that is very, very easy to do, even with a common car like the DSC-10s. I mean, I think just about everybody has a DSC-10, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. So I'm gonna turn on Touch Drive and I'm gonna show you how little effort you have to put in here. This is the type of hunt in which you basically just need to let the computer play the game and you'll be fine. Though you need to have some inputs at the very start to build some nitro. So here's what was that start? That was kind of strange, but okay. Okay, and by the way, if you notice some performance issues, it's because I'm playing on the Switch. So I'm gonna do some 360s over here to get some nitro, then a little bit of drift, and from there just nitro once, and I don't need to press anything again for the rest of this hunt. A lot of these Class D or Class C hunts tend to be like this, that you can complete them by just using the DSC-10s, and you should be fine. And like I said, I'm not pressing anything, I'm just letting Touch Drive. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, but I still need to do a ton of races. Yes, you do, but at least you, in the meantime, can be doing something else while the computer plays the game, because, yes. Now, sometimes the opponents, the enemy AI, will get in the way and will mess you up, but overall, in average, you're definitely going to be able to get all 3 packs by just doing this. Now, once again, you need to get the 134 blueprints, so that's going to take a while, and this hunt has been going on for several days already, but hey, here we go. Look at that! And I got a time of almost 46 seconds, and I needed, what, 48? So there's 1 pack, 2 packs, 3 packs. There it is. And very little effort had to be put over here. Now, of course, you get your 3 packs, and you have a, what, like a 7% drop rate or something for the blueprints of the car, so this is gonna take a while. But there you go. This is what you gotta do if you want to unlock the Brabham. Now, let's talk about the car itself. And oh, what a beauty of a car this is. The Brabham BT62, a gold rank of 3817. I do actually have my own car goldened out, and these are the stats for the car. Now, being a Class C with a top speed of 322 is actually, I would say, average for Class C, but it's not good, all right? Average doesn't mean good, just it's there. The medium Class C car should have the speed. This is, however, mid-high, so yeah, it's a bit on the slow side. However, it kind of makes up for it by the fact that it has a pretty good acceleration of almost 94, handling of 76 is really high, and nitro of 75-70, it's also considerably high. Now, it's neither of these stats is the highest out there, but in average, in total, I would say this car is pretty good, other than the speed. However, as you can see, we're having a look at multiplayer over here, because that's where I'm gonna play in. That's why I said that this was gonna be like swimming upstream, because this is gonna be tough. I am currently in, where is it? Hold on, let me, there it is, Gold League 2. I am in Gold 2. But the Brabham, this beauty, it's found in Silver 1. So that means that I'm gonna be using a car from several sub-leagues before, or lower sub-leagues than what I should be using. In Gold 2, I should be using, where's Gold 2? No, this is, okay, this is Gold 2. So you can see already the type of cars that you can use, the SC63, the 600LT, all of this type of stuff, right? Some of these cars are rare, but look at that, Lamborghini's Huracan Evo. Oof. So this is what in theory I should be facing, but the reality is that normally when you're in Gold League, wherever you are, you're gonna be finding players from lower sub-leagues. So I expect to be finding players precisely from around here, Gold 3, maybe even some of Gold 4. Some people might still bring some really low class cars, or rather low sub-leagues or leagues, but still, let's see how this goes. Now, if you're familiar with my content, you know that whenever I do a multiplayer test in MP1 of a car, I call it, how far can it take me, right? That's what I normally do. However, I'm not calling it this time that because it's been difficult for me to make sense of that type of video where I would normally, for example, this car being a car of gold, of silver 1, I would ideally rank all the way down to silver 1 and then use this car over there. But in silver 1, even though that is where this car belongs, people are going to be using cars from much lower leagues. Why? Because it's considerably late in the season. Also, because you know how nowadays in MP1 it's A, difficult to rank down, and B, once a season ends, let's say that I finished in Platinum, when the next season begins, I'm very likely going to be in Platinum again. I don't go all the way down to Bronze or anything. So people that you're gonna find in the lower leagues, Bronze and Silver, even in low Gold, are gonna be players that don't have the best cars out there, that they don't have the best skills out there. And by the way, this is not a shot at those players. Obviously, we all were beginners at some point. DBT still kind of has a massive skill issue, so there's that. But yeah, you're gonna be finding players from much lower skill ratings, let's call it. I don't know if that's the proper term, but there you go. All right, first race, first place. Now, what was I racing against, though? We got a Huracan Evo Spider, a Grand Sport VLF, Nissan GTR Nismo, 2 more Huracans, and a Leica. Now, let's not mince words. The Lamborghini Huracan should absolutely destroy the Brabham, and that is precisely what I kind of wanted to show over here and why I decided to race in a sub-league much higher than where this car belongs. It's honestly kind of difficult for me to try to explain my logic as to why I'm driving the car that I'm driving, where I'm driving it and whatnot. The point is, it's difficult for me to get to where this car belongs, and even if I manage to get all the way down to Silver 1, this car would be absolutely destroying everybody, because the people that are playing in Silver 1 have worse cars or have a little bit of a skill issue. And once again, for the second time in this video, I'm not trying to you know, what's the term for that? Drop shade, is that how you say it? To any of those players. It's not about that. We all are where we are in terms of our skills. It's fine. But what I'm saying is that it's not a realistic scenario for me to drive this car in silver, because this car will absolutely destroy everybody. And just about any other car, not any other car, but a lot of other cars will also destroy people simply because, well, skill issues, bad cars that they're driving, whatnot. So that is why I brought this in a sub-league where it was going to have more of a fight. Now, the first race I did get an absolute W, but over here you can see that the first and second, never mind, just the first place, it's way ahead of me. I don't know what car that is, but yeah, absolutely outclassed me and outraced me as well, so there is that. But I'm really curious, and that is why I wanted to do this in this way, to put this car in an uncomfortable scenario, because I think this is the only place where you're going to be able to have some fun with this car. I'll elaborate on that. Yeah, look at that. It was the Huracan. As I said, the Huracan is such a powerful car that it makes sense to destroy the Brabham, even though you can see that the ranks are kind of similar. The Huracan Evo at 39.91 and mine at 38.17. It's about 100 and some points of difference, but still. I did beat actually 3 Corvette Grand Sports, a EB110, FXXK, and FXXK, it's Class S, and an NSX. All right, fair enough. Just to try to make some sense as to how this is a bit weird. In Silver 1, these are the cars that I would normally be able to use. We have the Porsche 718 Cayman, the Aventador SV. Well, the Cayman got a special hunt recently, so maybe a bunch of people managed to gold it, like myself. The Aventador SV, it's a Class A, which is much faster than the Brabham, and very common car. We got the Maserati MC20, McMurtry Sperling. Man, the McMurtry Sperling, if I owned it and it was maxed out, it would absolutely eat alive the Brabham. It's so much better of a car, and that's the point that I'm trying to make with this type of cars like the Brabham, which is a mid-high Class C, that it's overranked, so it gets grouped here in the sub-leagues with cars that don't necessarily are going to be comparable in terms of performance. For example, we have over here the 765 LT. Now, this is a mid-class B car, and like I said, Brabham, it's mid-high Class C. But if we have a look at the stats, in paper alone, it's gonna look like the only problem with the Brabham compared to the 765 is gonna be the top speed, because the Brabham has 322 while this one has 347. But if you look at all the other stats, lower acceleration, lower handling, and lower nitro for the 765 than the Brabham. But still, the Brabham, it's a worse car overall. It's kind of difficult to explain because the numbers don't necessarily reflect the experience that you get in a race. But overall, a mid-class B car, 9 out of 10 times, well, let's say 7 out of 10 times is gonna beat a high-class C if both cars are driven properly. And that is the main thing, driven properly. Because if you have a player that is really good with the Brabham and you have a player that is really bad with the Ferrari FX6K, which is like 40 kilometers, almost 50 kilometers faster than the Brabham, well, yeah, you're gonna see, obviously, the Brabham is gonna do better. But if you have two players of the same skill level, exactly same skill level, driving these two cars, then the Ferrari FX6K has a much better chance of winning simply because it's that much faster, just because it's class S, despite the fact that the rank is lower. So that is why this whole thing is a mess to try to make sense of. Let's just keep on doing some races. And don't get me wrong, overall I have been enjoying quite a bit this multiplayer system. I just wish that the grouping of cars was a little bit less based just in the rank of the cars alone and more on the actual performance of the cars, but you know, having so many cars in the game, I imagine that that is also a difficult job to really figure out how the ranking makes sense of which cars are competitive against which. Whatever, it's fine. Now, this whole thing of talking about the car and how it performs against its peers, meaning on the same sub-league and whatnot, it's basically just to say that I don't believe that you actually need this car for multiplayer. You can just get some mid-class B, Class A, even low Class S as the FXX, and you're still going to be able to get some pretty good results comparable in some way to what you would be able to get with this car. So yeah, that's me just saying, you know, if you don't absolutely love this car because of how it looks, you don't want it for collection, you probably don't really need to be just grinding it super hard to unlock the car. I don't think it's worth it. If it was, for example, a mid-class B, then I would say, okay, that might be worth it. But for Class C, unfortunately, once again, because of how multiplayer works, and like I just mentioned earlier, if you finish your season in gold, by the time the next season begins, you're still gonna be in gold. So the use of your Class D or Class C cars, it's basically pointless. You're not gonna be able to use those cars because you're already in a league where they're not as needed. You will do much better by using your Class B cars. Now, if you don't have any car, you think, I do need a Class C car at all, well, yeah, you can go for this, but once again, I just don't feel like it's all that necessary. Alright, I got a first place defeating the Corvette Grand Sport, Huracan Evo, Lycan, Hypersport, 918 Spider FXXK, Grand Sport, and Aventador SVJ Roadster. Now, like the SVJ, for example, that's not fully upgraded. Some of these aren't, but still, it was a pretty good result. Once again, mixed results over here simply because of how multiplayer works. I know, I'm saying this a bunch of times, but it is it. You know what I just realized? I'm literally 4 points, I think, 4 points away from reaching the next gold sub-league, which would be gold 1, where things are gonna get pretty dicey. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we can do. Ooh, Apollo N, that's way faster. That is like 50 kilometers faster than my car if it's at the 5th star that Apollo N. But let's see what we do over here. Oh, is that the Porsche? Precisely, I made a video on that. I think that's the one. On the Porsche, whatever it's called, that it's also a high-class C, and that's basically the same thing done with this one. You don't need that car. Now, is it a good car? For sure, but in general, I don't think it's something that you need to be losing sleep over or spending... Oh God, what just happened? Hold on. You don't need to be losing sleep over it or spending tokens on refills on this car. Now, to be fair, it is worth to always get your guaranteed blueprints from any hunt, and if you have some spare time and whatnot, do a little bit of the hunt to get a little bit of progress into it, so that next time that it shows up, well, you already have a bit of progress, you might be able to do a bit more progress, or maybe at that point you're like, ooh, I won the car, so maybe this time I will commit, and I already have, I don't know, 20 blueprints from the last time. Something like that, right? So, and there's something else to consider that we never know. Game of one day could wake up and say like, oh, you know what? For this specific car, some fancy car on a special event, you need the Brabham. And you're gonna be like, oh man, I should have gone for it when I had the chance, but you know, you never know. It's just depending on what Gameloft wants to do, and we're just here at the mercy of their decisions. All right, got another first place, defeating an Apollo N, Lycan, Porsche Panamera, that's the one that I was thinking, yeah. The Vantage GT12, 𝐆𝐿𝐋𝐃, Aventador SB, and McLaren P1. Now, don't be fooled in thinking that this car can always defeat those other ones. It can't. In fact, right now, oh, you can see it on the bottom left, Gold League 1. And there it is. I have reached Gold League, Gold 1. And what shall we face over there? Let's have a quick look. Because over here, now we're gonna encounter even harder opposition. We're, oh god, Vandas. Though to be fair, I don't think you're gonna be finding a lot of Vandas, because most people that are gonna be using Vandas are gonna be in a much higher, they're already in Platinum. They're gonna continue spamming the Vanda. But yeah, you see the Vanda, the McLaren 570S Spider, Aventador J, Onyx, It'll Design 50, the Nissan GTR 50 It'll Design, Pagani Zonda R, ATS Automobili, GT, Jaguar XJ220S, the Sesto Elemento, and the Glickenhaus 007. All of these cars will destroy my car when driven properly. And once again, that is the main thing, driven properly. Remember how I said you wouldn't find Vandas? There's a Vanda. Oh well, let's see what happens over here. Yeah, at this point, because I am in the last Gold League, or the highest Gold League, this is the people who are fighting to get into Platinum. So over here you can expect the people that are still in Gold, the most competitive ones, driving their best cars that they have available. While earlier on, at the start of this video, you saw some people driving some dubious cars. Over here, it's much more likely that you're gonna be finding people driving much better cars, and well, see what they can do with them. I do expect from here onwards to get a bunch of L's. Maybe not full L's, but considerable L's. Well, excellent English, DBT. Considerably considerable. Let's go. But yeah, at this point, I'm really punching up, or as I said earlier, swimming upstream. That is to say that I am fighting against the current, because really what I should be, oh god, what I should be driving over here is no longer Class C. I should be going for Class B and Class A. That's what I should be going for, but hey, we're gonna see what we can do over here. That's a 5th place. Yep, not really unexpected, to be honest. What was I racing? What was the whole roster? Vanda, Huracan, better driven Grand Sport, Huracan, and I did beat a Huracan Aventador J in a Lycan. Well, you know, small W's, I guess. Whoa. Okay, I just know, see that 4 GT? What? That's gotta be like a 2-star 4 GT. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, that's a very, is that someone trying to rank up, or, rank down or something? It seems weird to bring that car over here. Yeah, it's a Class B, but you know, the 4 GT is a bad Class B car, so even in the best case scenario, it would be a tough race, this one, against Huracans and whatnot, but this is taking forever to start, so someone quit the race, didn't they? You see the message. Check it out. Yes! And it's indeed the 4 GT. What did I say? Yeah, that's probably someone just trying to rank down. So they get into the race, and then they quit it, and they lose some points, and eventually they rank down. And listen, like I said at the start of this video, sometimes that is a strategic situation, like in my case, to do a test of a car where it in theory should belong, but as I said, I found out that it's not worth it to do. I think it's more entertaining to see the struggle of the car against much higher class cars, or not just much higher class, simply much higher tier cars, because, you know, Class B is not a much higher class, just slightly higher, but still is the Huracan compared to this is a much better car. Or for example, that's a Class S car, so we have a Class C versus Class S. That can be very good for my car, again. Come on, oh god. Now sure, I have the acceleration, so in jumps I can do pretty good. But once we get into the straight lines, that's where the top speed of this car kind of suffers. But even then, I did manage to beat that Lycan, so I gotta celebrate that a little bit. Come on! I was actually thinking that I was gonna rank down within this video as well, but hey, there's some results. Defeated by a Huracan, like I was saying, but did beat the Onyx, 2 Grand Sport, Huracan, Lycan, and the 4 GT who disconnected, so yeah. Oh, and we're in a top speed-oriented track. This is not gonna go great. Anyway, closing thoughts for the Brabham BT62 Keyhunt. Don't sweat it. You don't need this car. If you're not particularly interested in the car because, or rather I should word it in this way. If you like this car, visually speaking, you love how this car looks like I do, and you're like, oh, such a cool car, I would love to get it. I understand that it may not be the best car out there, but I want it, and I've seen the hunts before, and this is my opportunity to get it, whatever. In that case, then yeah, sure, you go for it, but that's just because you want it. But if you're thinking that you need this car, you don't actually. Like I just said earlier, a bunch of mid-class B cars are definitely gonna be enough to outperform this car, so really just putting a lot of pressure on yourself to do the Keyhunt, oof. And like I said, being a Keyhunt, you need to get every single blueprint, and that's gonna be tough. It's gonna require a lot of grinding, so hey, you don't need the car, you'll be fine with your Class B cars, it'll be alright. But hey, once again, DBT really liked this car, so when I had the opportunity to go for it, I definitely went for it. And by now I managed to gold it, as I showed you earlier, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, I just wanted to give you some thoughts on this situation, because I think it's interesting to talk precisely about whether or not, given how multiplayer works now, whether or not these cars are worth it. I got defeated by a Clicking House and 2 Hurricanes, but I did with the Grand Sport Lycan, a 918 Spider, and a Sin R1. Alright, lovely stuff. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, remember, do all of that stuff for DBT. But that's all. Thank you for watching. See you next one. Bye-bye.